Hi everyone, my name's Ken Good 7109. I'm here to teach people martial arts, like the very basics of the martial arts. This is a tutorial for the absolute beginner. I don't expect you to be a black belt in after this video, because you're not getting there. It takes at least 6 years to become a black belt in karate. For some people it take 2 or 3, but it depends on how much you practice. I'm also making these videos so I can learn how to teach these concepts to beginners, because if I can't teach martial arts, I'm not getting that black belt. You need to be able to have at least some knowledge in martial arts. You need to know how to teach some of the bare basics of martial arts in order to get that black belt. Like to teach a basic kata, you need to be able to describe or to explain how to do that kata to a beginner in order to get that black belt in karate, right? But anyway, that's it. I'm just going to need to learn how to teach at least a basic jab or a basic hook to the absolute beginner, so I can start knowing how to teach. Okay, so I can start figuring out how to teach. So let's get started. The first things first is if we're going to teach you the fighting stance. So I want you to put both of your feet shoulder width apart, okay? Shoulder width apart. If you move the left leg put the left leg on front of you, okay? Like this, like you're walking. Now, turn the other foot towards the front. Turn the toes of the other foot towards the front. You want the toes of the back foot pointing towards the front. And so you also want the entire foot and the toes be pointing towards the front of the back foot and the front foot too. After that, you can slightly bend your knees, right? And now for your hands, you want to have one hand, put the right hand on front of your chin and the left hand on front of the right hand on front of the chin and the left hand on front of the right hand. And now you jab, right? So now you got the fighting stance, okay? Now I'm gonna teach you the jab, right? First things first, I'm gonna teach you the basic arm movement of a jab. So when you're jabbing, when you're punching, you want to twist. You want to have your you want to have your knuckles outside. A lot of dojos, a lot of dojos that does not teach legitimate real martial arts will tell you to keep your thumb tucked in. Never keep your thumb tucked in. If you're fighting, that thumb could get smashed. You want your thumb outside like this. This is where you want your thumb, okay? This applies for both of your fists, okay? So anyway, you're in your fighting stance, and now when throwing a jab, I'm gonna just start with the basic arm movement first, okay? So when you're doing a jab, you wanna shoot your arm out like this, boom. Now when you're shooting your arm, rotate your wrist so it can be diagonal and not vertical. Rotate your wrist so your fist is diagonal and not vertical, like this. And now, slightly rotate your hips the opposite direction of your punch. You don't want to be like, boom. Actually, no. This is not the opposite direction. This would be the opposite direction. No, you want to rotate your wrist to the right side if you're jabbing with your left hand like this. It can just be a slight rotate, but you want to rotate your hips if you're punching with your right hand, rotate your hips to the left. If you're punching with your left hand, right, rotate your hips to the right, like that. Punch with the left hand, rotate your hips right at the same time. Punch to the left, right? Now Do the same hand motion like I showed you with the jab. And make sure your thumb is outside of your knuckles, like right here. And when you're doing a cross, rotate your hips to the left. Now punch with the right hand and rotate your hips to the right. Punch with your left hand, rotate your head punch with your right hand, rotate your hips to the left. Punch with your left hand, rotate your hips to the right. It just has to be a slight rotating motion. Now, when you're rotating, let your foot move naturally, pivot. While you don't over pivot, because I used to do that and it doesn't add more power. But let your feet slightly pivot. Let me show you. Like when you're punching, let this slightly rotate. You see how my foot is shifting? If your foot's shifting, that's what you want. So it can prevent injuries. Because if you're just not rotating, you're gonna look wonky. And if you're super stiff, that could possibly. I mean, I could be wrong about this, but this could possibly cause injuries, right? So again, your fighting stance I showed you. Left foot on front, right foot on back. Rotate, right? Rotate your hips to the left, right? And do a cross, right? And let your back foot naturally pivot the direction where your hip is turning. Right? So if your hip is turning to the left, right? Your foot will pivot to the left, right? Like this. If you're hitting with the right hand, if you're punching with the left hand, you will rotate to the right, and your foot will pivot to the right alongside of your rotating movement, like this. So now you jab, cross, and you're using your entire body while doing this. Well, thanks for learning how to do the jab and the cross. And see you next vid. Bye.